Hey guys, good evening.
Morning, afternoon, evening. Where,
Yeah,
Joel? You're what, 2 hours ahead earlier?
behind.
Yeah,
All right,
it's
Tom, take a deep breath, bro. Cleansing breath.
It's been a long day, man. It's been a
Yeah,
long day.
yeah. Joel Schafer, welcome, man.
thank you. Good to be with you guys.
Yeah, and I love it. First of all, I want to just give a little shout out to our buddy Scott who introduced us. I love it when we have awesome guests on the show. I love it way more when that awesome guest gives us another awesome guest. So it's like, it's just super cool, and I love that. And so thank you
The
for
chain, yeah.
thank you for being here, and I'm looking forward to having a chat with you. And so,
Yeah,
because Tom and I don't like wasting any time.
totally.
We just hit go.
Yeah. Yeah. So you got a lot of options to talk about here. So I'm not going to pretend to even suggest here. So just tell us a little bit about you and how you got here, and let's just start from there.
Cool. Yeah. So, I mean, I was fortunate to meet some really powerful shamanic people when I was 16. So I've been going at this for a long time. And it led to reading the Carlos Castaneda material, which is controversial material, but I also, was able to validate those teachings through a bunch of elders in New Mexico and Texas and Mexico City. And the teachings are really powerful. And the basis of the knowledge is that you do these movements that stem out of ancient Mexico that are similar to Qigong or Tai Chi, but they come from Mexico and they're designed to induce lucid dreams. They're very effective.
Huh.
It's kind of like doing mushrooms, but you don't have to do the mushrooms.
Cool.
As long as you practice them long enough, there's a powerful effect that it has on your perception. It also is good for your body. But by doing the movements, it leads to this ability to focus in a way that's pretty unprecedented. The focus state leads to being able to go back into your memories. Shamans say that all of our memories flash before our eyes when we die. And the point of reviewing your life is to prepare for your death. So if you were to be able to recapitulate, which we call, life review, you would be able to have an alternative form of dying where you don't, your awareness doesn't recycle and you get to move into the afterlife with your awareness intact, rather than go back in the loop and go through a different, through a typical process. So the other benefit of reviewing all your memories is that memories are similar to dreams. And if you can focus on memories and stay inside of memories for periods of time, then you could become a lucid dreamer. So my dreams would become really lucid. I don't sleep all that much, but I get this really incredible rest in which I'm half awake, half asleep, and I'm traveling in other layers of the onion. I don't have to take ayahuasca. I don't have to eat mushrooms. I don't have to do those things in order to explore perception. And it's a total breakthrough. And I teach these courses on how to continue that process and how to open those doors of perception. And it's, I've been training in these arts for 30 years. We call it shamanic dreaming arts. There's also some female authors that teach this work, Taisha Abelar, Florinda Donner Grau, and they're all associated with Carlos Castaneda. He was considered the grandfather of the New Age movement. I consider the New Age movement to be more of a it's been hijacked. It's more like it's really syrupy and fake, and there's a lot of bullshit that's not really that solid.
How did I know?
Cool.
Yeah.
So keep going. Sorry.
Carlos Castaneda was a student of a man named Juan Matus, and he was not the only apprentice. There was also quite a few people, and there's some female shamanic practitioners that also wrote some really powerful books. There's a book called The Sorcerer's Crossing by Taisha Abelar that explains the recapitulation process. It seems crazy, but if you breathe in your soul essence from a particular memory and you purge any energy you took from somebody else, eventually your memories start to increase. It's like opening a treasure chest of memories, and all of a sudden you have access to memories you forgot about. It goes all the way back to like being in the womb. So you can start to remember. Most people don't have memory from 0 to 4 years of age, but
Sure.
eventually you can access those memories in a very psychedelic way. If you do ayahuasca, the same thing will happen. potentially, but this is a way of doing it without drugs. And so, you know, those books are all super amazing and life-changing stuff to read for some of us who really understand the potency of what's being written down. So yeah, we do these movements. We do them for long periods of time. We do long weekend workshops or even week-long workshops where we focus on the movements. And then we move into the recapitulating, and then it just opens doors for being able to focus on your psychedelic side of your perception. And so to me, this is like what the Mayans did. They figured out how to walk right out of this world by moving into different layers of the onion. There's multiple dimensions to this place. You know, the occult, they practice going into other layers. And this is like this is a way of doing it without having to manipulate people, without having to take power from people. But there is some dark sides that come to sorcery. Some people are very, there's some cults that you could get really spun out in if you were to explore perception in a way that's not sustainable. So anyways, this is, what I've been focused on for a long time. I'm not claiming to know anything. I just am curious and trying to figure it all out myself.
Hey, so, Joel.
Yeah, go ahead, Tom.
Can we back up a little bit? Because look, yeah. I'm an acupuncturist. I've heard the name Carlos Castaneda for God as long as I've been practicing, and even longer, because I ran in a group that got me into acupuncture. What was so controversial about him? You mentioned that kind of early on, and I don't remember personally hearing anything.
Well, I mean, he grew so fast and so big, and the internet blew up right when he became a big deal. Mm-hmm. And so there was a lot of witch hunts trying to, he started a private group of 40 people, and everyone was really offended if they weren't welcomed into that private group. And so they started searching. They searched in his garbage. They were following him. They hated him for kicking him out of the group. He would kick people out if he felt that they weren't keeping up. That kind of thing, which is culty. I'm not saying I don't.
It has cult-like tendencies.
Cult-like tendencies.
Yeah.
Totally, yeah. So I'm not saying this guy was all good. I think he was a human that had flaws. Mm-hmm. But his books, in my opinion, there's nothing ever been written in comparison. It's next level information. But I do think that it got to his head. And I wish that it had gone differently. And so there's just controversy around whether or not, and people think if you're like a holy shaman that you shouldn't have sex or smoke cigarettes or do whatever. And I don't agree with that. I think we should have fun and enjoy our lives and do whatever the hell you want. But when you get put in the spotlight, people are going to target you. But I also think he probably made some big mistakes by... He was careful not to sleep with his apprentices, but he also was highly sexual, and he slept with a lot of people. And then those people wrote books about him. So things like that, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. We've talked about this in other variants as well. I feel like it's almost human nature, right? No matter how good of intentions you have in the beginning, once you start getting into these sort of tracks, it's inhuman to think you wouldn't succumb.
The power, I guess, is really the issue there, right? You're almost caught up in the whole thing, and then, I can do this.
Yeah.
So Joel, I want to actually go back even farther than Tom went back. You said you had exposure when you were 16, and
that's a good question.
and question one, we're gonna have to crack that open a little bit, but question two, and maybe the broader question, is that I did a lot of things when I was 16.
Sure.
Most of them have zero impact on my life today. So for something to have sort of captured you like that, I feel like there's more to that story too. And I kind of want to dig in there too, if you don't mind.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I started taking LSD and mushrooms at 13 years old. And I met some really incredible people that were, borderline schizophrenic, and I would keep them out of jail, and they would keep me entertained. And I was
right, yeah.
I was like a baby. Yeah, I had a lot of fun. I would go to, I was going to really cool parties, and I was selling
Sure.
LSD to all these people, and I was making money, and I was having fun and having a really good time. And I was hanging out with older people. That had always been my blueprint. I grew up in a neighborhood where everyone was older than me, so I matured quickly. I'm not suggesting that other people do the same. It wasn't like I went through some trauma because of it. But
Sure.
by 16, I met this dude that was, for whatever reason, he was 21 and he was fearless physically. He was a pro skater. He would do acid drops off of bridges in Seattle. Like, he just didn't care
wow.
about his body. He was just totally incredibly gifted physically, spiritually, and in all these other ways. But in the end, it turned out he ended up getting illusions of grandeur, and thought he was the real deal. So he kind of like the Neo Matrix kind of thing, where you think you're the one, that
Sure.
kind of shit. So the Messiah complex. So I had to leave him. And when I left him, his girlfriend came with me, and then he wanted to fucking kill me, and then
wow.
yeah. So then I was hanging out with this old Indian shaman in New Mexico, trying to like figure out what to do with my situation. And that turned into a fucking cult. And then, I was just kind of like, it was just chaos for me. So I'm 22 years old. I'm hanging out with this woman, and we're having kids, and we're living in a community where people from all over the world are training with this shaman that we're living with. And, and then this shaman ends up marrying all these women, and that, my whole life's just been totally insane, bro. Like, it's just been one thing after another. And then I met a medicine woman.
Yeah,
I have yet been unsurprised on this show, man. I don't think there's an episode where somebody doesn't say something I'm like, what? I've never heard that sequence of words put together before.
Yeah. No, I agree. But at the same time, I mean, I absolutely love that story is your story, because I mean, look, and where I was going with this is like, dude, the shit you're into is to say it's outside of mainstream would be a cosmic understatement, right? Like, I mean, in terms of what everyone else around us is doing right now, is so far from
and
this.
it's so, I mean, it's almost, I don't want to say refreshing.
No, it's amazing.
But it's amazing that you're actually coming out here and saying, oh, here's the dark side of it, right? No, I've seen that up close.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm lucky to be okay, to be honest. I
gotta believe that that's true for all half the stories you said. I'm like, well, that could have ended definitely worse.
Horribly.
Yeah, like that could have been terrible.
Yeah, because cults always end well.
No, I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
But you know what is also sort of humanizing about this story is that, like, especially on the internet, right? And not for sure not on this show, but in the internet at large, these stories are so manicured, and they sort of like rise to a cult status because that manicure is so tightly controlled.
Oh yeah, the whole story about a lot of even like founders of big companies, you're like, this was manufactured.
Yeah.
Like
this
the guy from Yogi T. Have you ever heard that guy's backstory? That guy was a fucking demon.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, what? Like, I love Yogi T. That shit is great. What are you talking about? That's terrible. Like, that guy was awful. Like,
oddly enough, if you guys want to hear something else that's weird, I came home from work, took my scrubs off, pulled open my drawer. Top of the drawer is my new T-shirt that says "Cult Leader" on it, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna wear a plain shirt today."
So Joel, you the first shaman that you had, I assume that was the 16 one, like didn't work out, ended up being a cult guy. So like, if that was your first patterning on this, like what would make you have come back to it?
I mean, I was trying to figure out what to do in order to recover from that situation. So I was looking for somebody else to try to tell me what the fuck happened to me. And that's why I went, I was just kind of desperate, young, and confused. And then eventually a woman showed up in that group, and like one by one, she started pulling us all out of this second cult that I was in. And I went and hung out with her, and she was a real legit healer. She helped the police find missing children. She helped people heal from cancer. She was a real shamanic, healer, and there are a few of those out there that aren't corrupted, that do real, help. And so I was really fortunate to get her help, and she helped me to get to my emotional pain, and helped me to be real honest about how lost I had become. And so, I was really, really appreciate her in my life. And the woman that I had kids with, who I had sort of stolen from the cult leader, the original one, we went on to have a powerful marriage, and we moved away from cults and ended up, healing and stuff. But it was still traumatic and difficult, and still difficult to totally clear the past. So, I'm not claiming to be healed or anything. I still have trauma and stuff to work through.
Yeah, but I mean, look, yours seems particularly egregious, but I mean, no one's ever done with that journey, right?
Exactly.
Like that I mean, that just keeps on going, man. I mean, that's but yeah, no, it sounds great where you're at now. So you find this woman, and things kind of ship around. Like, you seem to have dedicated your life to this. So I feel like you're really, chips are all in for you on this one. Like, what got you to that point?
Yeah, I mean, I really believe that the knowledge that Carlos Castaneda shared in those books is significant, and is important information that people should learn. And I'm trying to sort of filter and cleanse it so that people can get the benefits of it without the negatives. So I'm just offering a way of lending people an idea or a concept that might be really helpful, because I find religions to be really, heavy and dark, and they're like programs that people get caught in. And I'm trying to suggest that there's another way to go about learning without having to get caught in, another cult, because religions are cult-like to me. So I think there's a system available to us to develop our awareness, and there's a way to reclaim your attention from all the distractions in the world, to focus your attention on the lucid side of perception. And I just believe that, that's the evolution of our humanity, is that if we don't realize how powerful we are, then we're just going to be like chickens in a chicken coop, just getting fed off by forces that are manipulating us.
Yeah, we're actually talking about this before you got on tonight, about what role humans would have in a post AI, like AGI world, right? And a lot of the things that you're talking about, if you're not on the doomsday side of this equation, right? If you're on the everybody wins, it's all a happy coexistence side, right, which I would hope is the case. I'm a little pessimistic about it, but
humans will mess it up.
Yeah, humans will mess it up. But in the version where they don't mess it up, the only thing that is really valuable is connecting to these pieces of humanity that we have forgotten how to connect to.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? It doesn't matter if you're good at fucking Excel. No one gives a shit, because there's an AI that does that, and we don't ever have to fucking open Excel again. Okay. Everybody drop Excel and take 2 big steps back. Okay. But what we can do is we can meditate. We could do a drum circle. We could, do plant medicine. We could drop fistfuls of mushrooms just because we feel like it, right? There's all kinds of shit we could do.
Totally. Yeah, that Toltecs say that we used to travel in other layers of the onion quite easily, and that we were very powerful beings, and that we can return to that. But something...
go ahead. Sorry, please finish.
Well, they say that something arrived here from somewhere else and has manipulated our perception, and has convinced us that this is all that there is, and therefore there's we're in a self-destructive process, because we were like, what is this? But there's so much more to this world than meets the eye, and it's up to us to figure out. And that doesn't mean the majority of people will figure that out. I think it's a small minority of people that will access the other side of things, and then that's going to be really incredible as we move forward, because forces rise to meet each other. So just because we're being fucked with doesn't mean that we're destroyed. Our back is against the wall, and our ability to remember our capacity, our magic, and our medicine is going to surface, and more people are going to wake up to their potential.
So listen, Joel, I want to believe everything you're saying, but can we let's just take
seems too hopeful for what we're living in.
Because listen, I'm putting myself in the shoes of I don't know, Tom, is it fair to say 50% of people that would listen to this would say, all right, because I'm on listening to the show in the first place, I'm willing to listen, but there's a huge part of me that's like kind of calling bullshit on this, right? And so I'm like, all right, well, what would that person say?
I think you're onto something there. I think it's almost like that is the most hopeful kind of for us. Like, oh, no, all of this is definitely being done to us. There's something here that's making this worse. I always, Joel, since about 2015, I started saying this is the dumbest timeline. like why are we in the dumbest timeline? You know, like why are we doing this?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, no, I mean, my friend always says, dude, he's just repeating that this shit's retarded. And it is. It's like, it's reduced down, right? We're in such a difficult situation that it does seem that there's literally no potential for anything. But I'm not concerned about the majority. I'm concerned about me. And that sounds selfish.
Mm-hmm. I got you.
I think that I and a few other people are going to figure out solutions on how to evolve. Like the Mayans, they walked right out of this dimension and went into another layer. So I'm not saying this particular layer is going to work out, but I think some people, and I think it's not selfish to heal and to free yourself from this place. I think it's actually, when you do that, the 100th monkey thing is real. And if enough people are able to evolve, then it'll give permission to other people to do so. It's like you have to model it. And so it's not selfish at all to start cutting off people that are toxic in your life, or really extract yourself from the decrepancy of humanity. But it is disturbing and terrifying to come to terms with the way in which people are moving and what the direction in which people are moving. So we need to be properly scared and and also make fun of ourselves and laugh at the insanity of it all.
I mean, I do that every once an hour. I'm laughing at something at the ridiculousness of something. Like, I mean, it's like,
and you said something there that, and I don't know. And Matt, fucking every conversation I've been having, I keep bringing up Power versus Force by David Hawkins, right? And this idea that, the people that are vibrating at this higher level offset all of those people who are not. And he says something like 85% of the people are below this level of being able to understand truth.
Exactly.
And that's terrifying if you look at that.
Yeah,
and if one person reaches enlightenment, it offsets all of that.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I think it's a noble pursuit to be a little selfish if we're going in that direction.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's so much to consider there, and that shamans say that they live lives that are so much longer than the normal life because they experience so much intensity, and time is measured by intensity. Time is not linear. So if you can have a really intense and powerful existence, it's like living thousands of years in comparison to a person who lives 80 years, because you gain so much experience, and there's nothing we can take with us. We don't get to take our food or our shelters or the money or our partners. We take only our experiences with us. And if you can have really powerful experiences, then you can have a really powerful, you lend a really powerful contribution to the totality of humanity. And that's what matters, is the intensity, not how many minutes you live or how much you donate to charity or whatever nonsense people think is valid.
That's an interesting perspective, actually, an interesting lens, if you will, to look through. That's interesting. Yeah, I never heard anybody say that before, actually, and so I'm like kind of absorbing that for a second, because you know what that does for me is that completely changes the yardstick I would measure things by.
Me too.
You know what I mean? Like, and it changed it in just like one breath of you. It was like, I'm like, wait a minute, hold on a second. I gotta remeasure everything here. It's like, you know, just because that, I mean, like, I don't think most people don't think of things. I mean, actually, you know, back to this AI thing for a second, like that people are like, hey, look, my whole identity is wound up in what I do for a living.
Right.
Yeah.
So if that gets threatened, well, that's not just me losing my job. It's also not just me losing my financial independence.
Right.
It's also me losing myself. Like I have, and like the people that would feel like that most, I think, are the ones that don't even know how to sort of take that level of introspection and know that they are not that's an untrue statement. It's a narrative that never existed. It was put upon you by somebody else.
Well, you know, and I think that's funny because that kind of references Joel mentioning, you know, there's a thing that's kind of on us that's limiting us, you know, and that might be certain aspects of society. If we even make it that, you know, you're not your job, you're not, you know, your relationships, you're something else, but we don't have time to look at that. Why? Because I got to pay my mortgage.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a program that's running, you know, and we have to extract ourselves from that program. And if you don't, then, you know, it's going to be really unfortunate, but there is a way to do so. And if you do, you become liberated, you stop comparing yourself to people, and you start thinking for yourself, and you start to have natural thoughts rather than programmed thoughts. So the shamans say we have two voices running in our head. One is a foreign installation that's not natural, and then we have our natural thoughts. And there's a way to return to your natural thoughts, and that will lead you back to your creativity and imagination that you had when you were like 4 years old. But you also are an adult that can handle, you know, integrating your adult awareness with your youthful energy. So the reason we go into our life, our memories, is to reclaim our youthful energy. And you can start to reverse age. So Carlos Castaneda was like 40 years old when he was training with this 90-year-old Indian, and the 90-year-old Indian was younger than Carlos Castaneda, who was 40, because he had become he learned to laugh. He had learned to free himself perceptually. He was having so much fun with his life, and he had slowed down time. So each day was like a month to him, or a year even. Like he lived really long life, and so there, it's just this box of comparison that we're inside of, where we keep ourselves in the same level of attention that humanity's in, but we're going to have to break out of that and start to move into brand new ways of perceiving reality.
You know, it's interesting. You said something about kids a minute ago, and like, you know, it got me thinking. I just learned about this. NASA had done a study that said like 98% of kids between 4 and 5 test as a creative genius.
Yeah.
Yet in adulthood, only 2%.
We kill it.
Yeah.
And I was like sitting there going, dude, I've talked to 50 guys like you that talk versions of how to like attach to these powers that we have at one point, but we lose access to. Exactly. And they've all got different versions of it, but everyone seems to agree on one thing. We beat this out of people systemically and intentionally.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a tragedy, really. You know, so there is a way to be really honest about that. And, but yeah, children mimic whoever is raising them. They acquiesce to the description of the reality in which that adult perceives reality. And so if parents can raise their child in a way that doesn't squash their energy level, and, you know, like, because every child's being told to sit down and stop doing that, you know, stop expressing yourself, stop crying, stop yelling, stop screaming. But those kids are just trying to deal with whatever the hell is going on, and they're really naturally, you know, doing their best to process whatever it needs to be processed. And it's just a tragedy. And so hopefully more and more people can recognize that, and more parents can, you know, raise children with awareness rather than try to get them to conform.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, I Tom and I are both parents as well,
Yeah,
and like I'll tell you, like when my kids were little, it was hard as shit to be like,
God, now they're killing me.
Yeah, now they're teenagers. I like half want to kill them on every day of the week. I'm like, fuck, they're killing me.
I just keep going. Look, this is morphology. Your brain isn't fully formed. You have no idea what the fuck's going on. Shut up. Shut up.
I asked my daughter today where my colored pencils were. She looked at me like I had like taken a piss on her face. She's like, what the fuck kind of question are you asking me right now? Like, how dare you? And I'm just like, I want to kill you.
Totally. Well, I think kids are meant to have their own levels of trauma, and I'm not saying we should live in some perfect idealistic world. I think we're heading into a time where people that are meant to go, like I wasn't raised in some great family, you know. There's certain people are meant to go through things like what I went through, and that leads to the potential of freeing yourself from the hive mind, is what we refer to it as. And if you can come out of the hive mind, man, life gets really incredible. Like I live a really powerful life, and I'm in contact with really incredible people, and my dreams are really incredible. So, and I work with people that are much more advanced than I am. So they're out there, and there is potential to do this more and more, especially in indigenous populations. There's still people that are doing this stuff, but we look at them and we think they're behind, but in reality they're living closer to the earth, and they're able to use their perception in ways that we don't relate to. So our barometer of what is evolved needs to adjust so that we can be more respectful to like these indigenous populations and what they could teach us.
So let's get into that a little bit. You said you've been studying for a long time. You've dedicated like a lot of time to this. I get it. And you say you help people sort of learn these things. Like what does that look like? Let's talk about the tactics a little bit here.
Yeah. Kind of what's the first step?
Yeah. Like I'm interested. Okay. I raised my hand. What's first?
Yeah. I mean, I meet with people in one-on-one sessions. We do like 60 or 90-minute talks, and I get into the history of your life and ask questions that'll help me understand what your blueprint is. If I introduce some concepts that the Carlos Castaneda books speak to. And if it piques your interest, then we schedule continued sessions, and we start teaching you these movements. If you're willing to do the movements, it breaks up the stagnant energy that is keeping you from having lucidity. So I feel like I'm on mushrooms right now, even though I'm not. I feel that way all the time. I figured out a way to live in those heightened awareness states. And it's not easy. It's hard to sleep sometimes. It's hard to do normal things because I don't relate to the way in which most people perceive their day-to-day experiences. And I figured out how to do that while raising kids. But that doesn't mean that went well for my kids. You know, they were kind of wish that I had been a normal dad, that I was pretty out there, right? So it's not like a pretty picture, but I still I imbued them with some teachings and some awareness that makes them really unique. Their eyes are really bright. They're really lit up. They really sense who is a positive person to hang out with and who is not. So they have an awareness to them, because I took them out in the wilderness for long periods of time, and I taught them things when they were young that would help them to eventually be really powerful adults. So there's a way to sort of do things differently. And when if you were to come to my classes online, you would meet all these incredible people that have been working with me for a while. There's often a lot of emotional release that happens because people are having really profound experiences. They're very thankful. They're in a lot of gratitude. They're getting out of toxic relationships. They're having to reset their field and their reality by changing their paradigm. And and then I do in-person workshops, and we do these movements over and over and over until you get into silence. So it's like a moving meditation. Meditation's hard. But if you're doing moving meditation, it's pretty easy. You just repeat the movements, repeat the movements, repeat the movements. It's kind of like martial arts, and you start to
Yep.
feel really strong. And, you
Yeah,
know,
totally.
and then you go to an acupuncturist, you go to Chinese medicine, you go to a chiropractor, you go to a craniosacral therapist, you get massage, you start getting a team that can help you get, you know, to deal with any stuff that you've accumulated over your lifetime and start fixing what is become problematic for yourself. So it's not just me. You want to make sure that you're exploring all the ways, and, you know, and then money comes into the picture. Like, well, how am I going to afford all that? Well, that's part of the obstacle course. Is you're going to have to figure out how you're going to thrive in this place, and you're going to have to go and face things that you've been avoiding, you know, as a means to do that. And so I've been in construction management, and I had to learn to fucking deal with some really difficult situations and not cry and run home and, you know, cover myself in a blanket. I had to face shit, right? It's like life is hard. You got to get strong.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree with that. I think that
Definitely not wrong there.
Yeah. I think the thing that's hard is that we've made it so easy to not do any of those things. Right.
Totally.
Like it's very simple to just, I know I pick on TikTok a lot, but like, look, TikTok makes it super easy to do jack all fucking nothing, you know, for extremely long periods of time.
Yeah. Well, you know, and that's the Huxley model of how society kind of collapses on itself. It's everything's too easy. All the distraction is put in front of you. You don't even want to explore. You don't want to have to do something because it might cause discomfort.
Yeah,
you know?
You know, the comfort zone is a trap, right? And the real change happens outside of the comfort zone. So that's why everybody's turning to mushrooms now. Like I sell a product called Brain Supreme that my friend, you know, owns a company, and it's a microdosing product, and you can get mailed to your fucking house now. So, you know, you can change your life with help. You don't have to do it on your own. You can microdose, and it'll make you less interested in TikTok and makes you want to go walk and to go take a hike in the woods instead. So it can help.
You know what happened when I started microdosing regularly? I fucking take 100 walks a day.
Yeah.
I started reading like there was no tomorrow. I mean, it's been amazing.
Yeah, these terrible
and I'm
habits.
not even microdosing anymore.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I hear you.
Yeah, and it's not for everybody. You know, we don't have to be just because we're seeing so many people go down a path of self-destruction. That doesn't mean that that's where humanity's going. That's just a warning sign. That's the indication that we really need to evaluate how dangerous the distractions are, and start to recognize the way in which you, me, and you are all distracted. And I'm still distracted. I'm not claiming to be free of distraction whatsoever, but I'm less and less distracted. And, you know, I'm starting to become more curious and more in my imagination. And I'm eventually going to be able to do what Carlos Castaneda did, which is to actually go into other layers of the onion and stay there for long periods of time. And there's a lot of joy and intensity to experience when that starts to happen.
So like when people want to work with you, because I'm curious, like frame of reference here, people work with you. Is this like something people work with you for like 5 or 6 sessions and we're good? Or is it like a long-term like growing process? Like, are you, I'm just curious, like what kind of intensity are we doing?
What's the journey?
Yeah, it's different for each person. You know, obviously I've been doing this for 30 years. And if somebody wants to come into it and train with me for 30 years, that's an option. I make it sliding scale and affordable for people to continue to train with me. So I have people that have been training with me for years. And some people come in and they don't stay. And some of them run away from the work, and some of them have a huge boost of energy from it, and they go out and create their own teachings. So each person's different. I've met people that do this stuff through other teachers, and they do it for a long time, and it doesn't really affect them because they're just really dense. And then some people come in and they have one session and they start crying because of how powerful of a perceptual shift it is. So we're all really different. So it just depends on the person. But most people that come into this work, they like it and they come back and they keep coming to my courses, and then they come to the in-person workshops, and they do they do one-on-one sessions on top of it, and they find ways to generate the income in order to afford it. And I help them build the energy and the confidence in order to advance in their career. And often I help people get out of their toxic career and find a career that is going to make them feel good about themselves. That's a big part of this dance. But eventually you want to be able to go into like a really difficult work environment without getting drained. That's part of this. That's part of this deal, is that you're more powerful than the matrix. And so if you can go into that world and not get beat up by it, then you've really evolved. So in construction management, I had to go deal with some really intense narcissists that had never been defeated, really powerful egos. And, if you can handle that kind of pressure without being offended, Toltecs say we spend our life being offended by one thing or another, and that's what makes us weak.
So that never happens.
Yeah.
I've never been offended.
Right.
I think I've been offended 5 times today.
Yeah. I mean, I took a lot of psilocybin and LSD, and I remember just somebody would be yelling at me, and I'd be like, wow, I'm just seeing all this energy coming out of them. And I wasn't at odds with them for yelling at me. I was just fascinated at the fact that they were so upset. So like, it's hard to reach that altered state where you can see without being triggered. But that's what we call shadow work. If you're triggered easily, that means you've got some unresolved things that need to be dealt with in order to free yourself from being so susceptible to other people's projections. And
that part right there, like, I think probably hits home for a lot of people.
That stung a bit for me, because I had a situation this morning driving, and I was like, that was as much me as it was them. Yeah,
totally.
Yeah, it's tough, man. That thing that gets us all, man. I mean, I feel like I've had probably 3 of those moments today. Not kidding you. Yeah.
Well, in construction, it's really intense. Like I was dealing with it, minute to minute. A lot of huge egos, a lot of anger. And it's fun in construction. You can yell the word "fuck" as loud as you want, and it's totally acceptable. So it's intense. You get to release your anger. You get to know yourself. You get to sort of deal with the intensity, but it's trigger after trigger after trigger. And so you have to figure out how to, have fun and not let that stuff get to you, and still be able to yell at people, because sometimes they're about to hurt themselves and you have to like bark at them. So it's just, there's a way to do this without taking it home with you, without being stressed out by it. And that's the key here, is that we don't let stress, like, this is basically energy management and stress management. And if you can master those 2 things, you can have an incredible life.
It's funny. I use the term with my kids, state management, a lot. I was like, man, you need better. And my wife, I mean, people who are freaking out, I'm like, look, you need to get control.
You say
of your
that
state
to your wife?
Management. Yeah.
Oh God, man,
it's not popular.
I don't know how you made it on the air tonight.
It's not popular. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, she loves it probably as much as the guy Joel was looking at on a bunch of mushrooms, going, "Your anger fascinates me."
I can't imagine a way to piss somebody off more than to be like, "Wow, that's very interesting."
Yeah.
I can't believe you're that mad.
I'd want to take the nail gun at that construction site and ram it up your ass. That's what I would want to do. Yeah, no, for sure. But state management, I mean, for me as an adult, like as I get older, like, it's almost like my mantra is state management. right?
Yeah.
Because that's what I realized was my absolute worst problem in my 30s was like, I was fucking a fuse box, man. A stiff wind would send me into a fucking, I'm rolling up my sleeves and going to stab somebody in the face. Like I'm fucking, like I am all intense in intensity, no softness whatsoever. And as I get older, I'm like, none of that worked out really well.
Right.
B, it's exhausting. Like, I mean, it's fucking exhausting.
It's a lot to hold on to all that shit. Yeah.
And Joel, to your point, I got to yell a lot. So there's a lot of like release there as well. But like, it's, and I did martial arts. Tom and I are both lifelong martial artists. So like when you said that hit home for both of us for sure.
I see the symmetry in, across cultures. And I'm really glad that you mentioned, Qigong and these kind of practices too, because there's this resurgence of breath work, and we see that with holotropic breathing. And what did he do? He looked at indigenous cultures. He went around the globe. Oh, it's music, it's rhythm, it's dancing, it's movement, it's breath. And it seems to be the same message, just altered to fit the culture.
Yeah, I trained with some really powerful martial art teachers over the years, and the one, like, I remember being at one dojo, and this other sensei came in from a neighboring dojo to do a short little demonstration. The minute he walked in the door, my body like turned towards him. It was like this incredible energy I'd never encountered in my life, and I literally quit my dojo that night and went to his dojo the next day. And I pissed a lot of people off. They're like, "That's not appropriate," and "That's not protocol," and all this. But I don't care. Like, I'm not going to let anybody keep me from what I'm called to. And that man changed my life, because it's not about the art. It's about the teacher and how powerful, how much energy they've saved, and how focused and capable they are of teaching that art. So, there's some really rare practitioners in this realm. And if you can gravitate towards the ones that are the real deal, it'll it'll change your life, because the more you spend time in the presence of them, it'll rub off.
Yeah, I've definitely experienced the same thing. I couldn't agree with you more. And I think actually, funny, a different version of that story is why I love this show so much. We get to learn from people like you, and we get to learn from people in so many disciplines and everything. And it's like, you talk about traveling to different layers of the onion. I mean, I feel like we're doing that mentally here, on these conversations, because we get to go in with this person a little deep over here, this person really high up over here, this person really down low over here. And it's just been awesome. But it's almost a skill though. Like, you start to lean in harder on the learning, right? So it's like, okay, maybe a year ago, Joel, maybe I wasn't ready to have this conversation. So the universe goes, you know what? We're going to let you have a couple warm up, and
get your toe in the water a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. You got to warm up to a conversation like this,
I gotta say, there was some times, and we do about 3 of these a week now. We've been blessed with a lot of really great guests, and God, Friday afternoon when we finished that third one, there's like a decompression period.
Oh man.
There's I'm gonna sit down here in the dark in the office and not do anything.
I did 20 minutes of Neurovisor right after that episode, because I was like, I need to ground this shit.
Yeah. Totally get that, man.
Yeah, same for me. I work with really powerful teachers, and I've had some really incredible transitions from those conversations, and that's where a lot happens, is in that integration period.
Yeah. Yeah, and especially when you start talking about heady shit like this, you need a minute to kind of let those marinate. You know what I mean? You can't just, it's tough. I mean, look, barring you having one of these sort of instant chemistry moments like you had with your sensei story, but.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, go ahead.
No, go.
Well, we call it the assemblage point. The assemblage point moves. There's this ball of light that moves around the toroidal field that surrounds our physical body. And when it moves significantly, it takes a while before it goes back to the normal position. So you want to try to have an integration period in which, especially if you're doing ayahuasca or mushrooms or something, it's like you've moved your perception into these other layers, and even, not to the degree that Castaneda did, but we're all preparing ourselves for our death. And when we die, we're going to witness a lot of incredible intensity. And shamans prepare themselves for their death by learning to handle altered states, because the death is the ultimate altered state. And it's we're all going to experience that. And there's no reason that we have to go into our death with dementia and Alzheimer's and, having lost our marbles. There's a way to be really strong and die in a conscious way. And, I think that's the evolution of humanity, is that we make use of that crossing. And so one of the books I read is called The Sorcerer's Crossing by Taisha Abelar. And it has to do with that energetic awareness. So I've met some really old people that are really sharp and really aware, and they're filled with light. They're not drained. They're not weak. They're not decrepit. And I'm inspired by that.
And that takes a lot of work, though. And I think that's where it falls down for most people, right? Like, the thought that you have to, like, as Tom said on one of the shows, is like, you've never go to the gym and have lifted all the weights. Like,
it's never like, I'm good. That was it. Yeah.
It's just, you got to keep going. You got to keep working at it. And it's like, I thought about you, Tom, like the other day at the gym. I'm like, fuck, I wish I had just lifted all the weights by now. Like, fuck.
I mean, God, I watched a dude clean and jerk 260 kilograms. And I hear I'm going 2.2. That dude's not that. Holy shit, that's almost 600 pounds over his head. And you know what he's doing after he broke that record? He's doing his deload week, and he's going back to the damn gym.
Yeah.
Why? There's more weights.
Yeah.
Well, and I would say that what's even more powerful is the internal power training. So I don't lift weights. I don't do any of that, but I'm a really strong person. I'm really grounded. It'd be hard for you to push me over, even though I'm probably half your weight, because I've figured out how to anchor myself into the earth. I'm electrically connected. And so in the martial art world, people get really tripped out by me because I'm capable of doing things that don't seem possible, because I train in the other side of things. It's not so much in the physical, it's in the energetic. So that, to me, you want to train for the old man, because someday your muscles aren't. You want to be prepared to do the timing, the like the judo side of it, where you're able to move so quickly in a way in which they throw themselves off their center when they try to attack you. So there's that side of it's even more powerful, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was a jiu-jitsu guy myself, and that Okinawan jiu-jitsu bred judo, aikido, a bunch of other things, right?
Yeah,
and
me too.
And like those, you were as well?
Yeah, bujitsu and aikido and the hapkido and all that stuff. That's
wow. Cool
stuff. Yeah.
Oh, we probably have some fun conversations in, because I was into that for a long time, actually. And it's funny, I moved from New Jersey to Baltimore, Maryland, and picked up a dojo down here. It turns out my sensei's sensei was the guy who brought this style called urban goju karate from Okinawa in the 50s to Brooklyn.
Wow.
Trained a bunch of guys. They all went about their lives, created dojos, whatever. Turns out that my sensei in Baltimore, coincidentally, like literally could not have planned this, was in the same second generation of U.S. students in that same guy's system. Cool. And so as soon as he found that out, it was like a couple weeks, and he respected my black from the other school, which was sort of atypical, right? Yeah. But it was atypical because like they don't know what you know. Like, and then as soon as they found out that I came from the same place, they're like, hey, you know the secret handshake? And what about this thing? What about that thing? It became clear that I did actually have a lot of that same DNA that they did. But I'm like, the universe is funny. Like, that wasn't an accident. Yeah, exactly. You know, like they're like, you're in this vibe. It works for you. We're going to let you keep doing it.
You know, it's amazing that you said that. My acupuncture teacher was my biggest martial arts teacher. It was Xing Yi Chuan, 5-element style Chinese martial arts internal system. And I moved down here, and I go, look, something's not right. You know, doesn't feel like things are flowing, and he goes, go find this guy. And he pulls out a fucking Kung Fu magazine from 1994. And the head of the system is there with the double barbarian hooks, crouched down. And he goes, this guy teaches Xing Yi Chuan. His stuff is really good. Yeah. And it took me 2 years to find him, but sure enough, he runs the biggest Chinese martial arts tournament in the country every year. Yeah.
Cool. Hell yeah. Yeah.
I love it. Actually, I just want to get back into it. COVID fucked everything up in the martial art world. Every dojo in the world closed
Kids
down.
fucked it up for me.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean I can't train 8 hours of Tai Chi this week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and Qigong is fun too. I mean, I was doing yoga for a long time before I had even done my first Qigong class, and I did Qigong daily for several years. And honestly, there's no rhyme or reason for this, but I went back to yoga, I think just because it was like the first thing I knew, and there were so many correlations, and I feel like I took what I needed to take out of Qigong, and I just basically incorporate that into my yogic practice now. It's just
cool.
So it's like sort of yoga adjacent. There's a couple maneuvers that aren't quite yoga, if you know what I mean.
That's cool.
You know what I mean? You're like, this isn't quite yoga. It's not quite Qigong either, but it's sort of like, inspired by.
Yeah.
I am fascinated about this movement system. I didn't know that, actually. I didn't realize that
other cultures had figured out breath and movement together.
No, that part doesn't surprise me, but the fact that they had like an organized movement style, that's actually something I would have thought somebody would have heard of, especially proximity to US, right? Like that's Aztec, Mayan, all those things are all sort of close to us, right? It's not like they're in some foreign land. They fucking touch us. Like, know.
Yeah.
I get that.
It's really different though. It's they're called magical passes or energy passes, and they're not as martial as Qigong or Tai Chi. They're made based on some of them are like animal forms that are almost embarrassing. You have to be like a child, almost like where you do strange things that would typically people wouldn't feel comfortable with. You're walking in circles and you go backwards, and it's like a dance, like a Mexican dance or something. And so it's triggering to people who are like from the martial arts world. They're not likely to do it, but it puts you in an altered state. It's kind of like, some of it's really masculine and some of it's really feminine. And so some people are okay with the masculine side. They're comfortable with that. Some women are comfortable with the feminine side, and they don't like the masculine side. So you kind of have to be pretty flexible with your relationship with embarrassment. So it's meant to get you out of your comfort zone. And you do them for
clearly
hours.
Not listened to any of our shows, Joel.
We're working on getting T-shirts that say "consummate fucking professionals." So that's how serious we are.
To say we're very comfortable with being embarrassed, I think it would be fair.
I think it happens on the daily.
Cool. These are very strange movements, and they do put you in altered states, and then you end up having really profound dreams because of it, or you end up feeling like you're on mushrooms because of it. And so
I'm not gonna lie, I love everything you just said. Like I want to do
you didn't
all
say
of
anything that put me off.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I want to do all of that. Yes, please.
Yeah. Cool. Man.
So speaking of which, if I was somebody who wanted to do that, where would we send people to kind of like learn more about you and
So my name, joelschafer.com. You can find all my stuff, and then my YouTube channel is called Perceiver. I interview a lot of really powerful truthers like Dr. Bear Lando and Tom Cowan and Kelly Brogan and all these people that have been on the front lines of challenging the mainstream perception of health, mainstream perception of reality. I interviewed, Mike Winner and Alex Zek, and I've been on the Way Forward, his channel. I'm connected to these people that are kind of on the front lines of exposing, the fact that we've been deceived by most things in modern academia. So it's a really powerful system. I'll be in Austin in October. I'll be on Luke Story's podcast, and I'll be teaching I'll be teaching a private men's group of podcasters in Austin, Texas. And so what I'm teaching is pretty unheard of, but it's about to start to become more accessible. So it's a fun time that we're in.
Oh, that's cool.
Cool.
Our partner, Dr. Dave, is actually in Austin. Maybe we'll connect you guys when you're out there.
That'd be great. Yeah.
He'd love to say hi for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so cool. Well, Joel, listen, man, thanks for coming by. This was fun.
Really,
to talk
really
about
thought-provoking,
I'm actually
man.
really excited about the stuff you're doing, because I really think that again, I wasn't just doing like AI hyperbole. Like, I'm like, no, that is really what we should be getting back to doing. Like, I mean,
yeah.
Most people agree we just forgot how to do it. Like, we just stopped doing it.
Exactly. We have a lot of magic and medicine that we can remember, and but we're kind of consumed by our daily affairs, and there's a way to sort of come out of that and start to reintegrate the what used to be the way in which humanity operated. And especially ancient Mexico, there's a real magic to the way people, even still to this day, you can find some really powerful people down there that are in a really unique way of living their life. So even though we have to work 9 to 5s or whatever, there's a way to enjoy your life and even enjoy your job without getting drained. And we all have holes in our consciousness. It's just that everyone has holes in different areas. And we want to find out where those holes are and find a way to patch up those holes so that we're not drained and that we're building energy day after day instead of having to recoup every night or reset our field. There's a way to sort of get strong, and your eyes will get brighter, and your dreams will get more intense, and your relationships will get stronger. So thanks for having me on. It was really fun.
Awesome,
talking.
man.
Really
that was a great wrap up there, Joel, too.
Yeah,
man.
it was perfect. Yeah, there's nothing more I could add to that, Joel, man. Thanks.
Yeah.
All right.
Enjoy the weekend, guys. Take care.
All right. Sure.
Be subversive, irreverent.
Health is wealth, but you knew that.
Everybody knows that.
But so is following us on social media at Irreverent Health. And check out our website for more exclusive content at irreverenthealth.com.
Oh, I like this.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of Irreverent Health.